Hello and welcome. This is part 2 of our overview of F106. Okay, in the first part of this two-part video overview, we talked about the manning aspects of force integration. Now, we will focus on equipping and talk about the process that brings all of this together. So, where does equipping begin anyway? This slide illustrates where force integration, or FI, starts across various levels of Army planning: strategic, operational, and tactical. FI plays a key role in developing and equipping units through synchronized processes across these levels. At the strategic level, force integration begins with documents or processes like the Army Campaign Plan, Total Army Analysis, Force Integration Functional Analysis, as well as, I'm sure, the guidance of senior Army leaders. So these guide long-term goals and resource requirements. At the operational level, tools such as the Dynamic Army Resourcing Priority List, DARPL, the RStruct, and the Army Modernization Priority List, AMPL, help to establish priorities and manage resources, ensuring capabilities align with operational requirements. At the tactical level, the DARPL informs tactical decisions like fielding schedules and equipment training. It ensures that the right resources are available for unit readiness in real-world operations. The diagram on the lower right links to the F101 lesson, Foundations of Change, showing how force management connects capability development to the eventual fielding and equipping of units. This ensures a holistic approach from identifying a need to delivering capabilities in the field. In this slide, we illustrate how force integration is connected to equipping, highlighting the role of the Army's Integrated Process Team, or IPT, in this effort. So, what's the key point? Integration starts at the beginning. The Headquarters DA Integrated Process Team ensures that force integration begins early in the planning and acquisition process, enabling effective coordination across different Army components. This team includes representatives from various Army organizations such as the G8, G357, G4, the ASALT, and others. These teams collaborate to manage force structure, planning, and logistics. The Defense Acquisition System, or DAS, links FI to tactical force integration with key handover points to the unit level. This includes planning for new equipment arrival, the G3's role in managing material fielding, the G4's role in signing for equipment, and G3 and commander's responsibilities for unit training with new material. The process includes integrated product support, which addresses key areas such as sustaining, engineering, and supply support, technical data and facilities, training and manpower, resources, and infrastructure. Now, force integration ensures new systems and equipment are synchronized with personnel, training, and sustainment requirements. This approach helps the Army remain agile and ready by aligning all necessary resources from the start to ensure smooth fielding and effective operational use. This slide focuses on the key documents involved in the Army modernization efforts, which are primarily for the requirements acquisition and resourcing communities. These documents provide a macro view of investments and desired capabilities to guide Army modernization efforts. The Army Strategic Planning System, ASPS, integrates national strategy and guidance into the Army's resourcing and equipping priorities. This process is led by Army Futures Command and the Army G8. Army Senior Leader Guidance plays a crucial role in shaping these priorities and directing investments in the capabilities needed for future operations. These documents are updated frequently to reflect changing strategic and operational requirements. Additionally, the Army Modernization Equipping Conference, AMEC, plays a significant role in these efforts. The AMEC's system and cost data are primarily aimed at engagements with the Office of the Secretary of Defense, OSD, and Congress, ensuring that the Army's modernization priorities are communicated and supported. Now that we've covered how the Army establishes equipping priorities, it's time to discuss how equipment is distributed to units with shortages. The Army's processes for equipment distribution and redistribution are managed through both deliberate and rapid methods. Equipment shortages identified in systems like GCSS Alpha, or A, Geeks A, and DERS A feed into these processes. Deliberate processes. This involves coordination across multiple stakeholders, including the lead material integrator and the decision support tool. The Army Materiel Command and the Army Sustainment Command both play key roles as executive agents. Stakeholders propose solutions for equipment shortages which are vetted and addressed through established processes. The Army G8 and program managers inform decisions on new equipment distributions, ensuring shortages are filled according to priority and available resources. The rapid process. This process addresses immediate needs through operational needs statements, or ONSs. The previous REF, or Rapid Equipping Force, is no longer in use. The ONS process enables rapid distribution of equipment to address urgent requirements in the field. Additionally, the Army Modernization Equipping Conference, the AMEC, ensures alignment with Army priorities and policies, holding semi-annual meetings to address ACOM concerns. So on this slide, we focus on how the Army ensures equipment is distributed to units through three key tools: the Lead Material Integrator, LMI, the Decision Support Tool, DST, and the Army Synchronization Tool, AST. LMI, Lead Material Integrator. So AMC, acting as the Army's LMI, synchronizes the distribution, redistribution, and divestiture, DRD, of equipment across the force. AMC coordinates DRD across the Army commands and ASCCs in line with Army priorities and directives. The LMI Directorate ensures readiness by synchronizing this process using the Decision Support Tool, or DST, which provides a central platform for planning and execution. The DST supports DRD efforts by visualizing supply and demand in real time. It helps plan new equipment fielding, creates displacement or cascading plans, and enables what-if scenarios to visualize the effects of changes to the force structure. DST covers both strategic-level actions, such as compo distribution, and tactical-level transfers, ensuring the Army maximizes readiness and resource allocation. AST, Army Synchronization Tool. The AST is a recent addition that helps coordinate Army requirements, calendars, and unit inventory in a central location. It allows users to propose courses of action and managed sourcing decisions. The AST also supports event tracking at various levels to keep units aligned with readiness goals and operational needs. These tools ensure that the right equipment reaches the right units at the right time, improving efficiency and meeting the Army's operational demands. The Lead Material Integrator has three core functions for ensuring that equipment is properly managed and delivered to units. The first, distribution. This involves a new production. The Army Sustainment Command, the ASC, in coordination with ASALT, oversees the distribution of new equipment based on Army priorities outlined in the DARPL and by the Chief of Staff of the Army. This ensures that new production equipment is delivered to units as part of Army modernization and readiness efforts. Redistribution. We see these as lateral transfers. ASC also manages the redistribution of excess equipment across Army commands to address ongoing and emerging equipping requirements. This helps ensure that units receive the necessary resources, even if the equipment is transferred laterally between commands. Divestiture. Finally, ASC, in conjunction with Life Cycle Management Commands, LCMCs, facilitates the divestiture of excess equipment that is no longer needed. This process removes surplus items from both the Army commands and the Army, ensuring that only necessary equipment remains in the system. These three processes ensure that the Army's equipment is efficiently distributed, redistributed, and divested, maximizing readiness and operational capability. The Decision Support Tool plays a role in managing equipment distribution and displacement planning within the Army. The DST enables synchronization of Army resources by providing a clear view of available equipment, quantities, and allocation across the force. It integrates data from multiple inputs, including AE2S for available quantities and compo allocations, I guess, DARPL, and of course the Army's force structure itself, ReARMM, the different phases, and unit calendars. The DST coordinates distribution and displacement plans, which are approved by Army commands, ASCCs, and DRUs. These plans guide fielding execution and equipment turn-ins based on current unit requirements and priorities. The Distribution Synchronization Calendar provides an ongoing view of planned distributions, ensuring that units, depots, and the Defense Logistics Agency are aligned to meet operational needs. This calendar helps coordinate key outputs such as synchronized distribution and projected equipment deliveries. Through DST, the Army ensures that the right equipment is delivered to the right units at the right time, improving overall readiness and reducing delays in the distribution process. The Army Synchronization Tool also plays a role in managing equipment distribution and synchronization across the Army. The AST provides a comprehensive view of unit calendars showing when equipment will be distributed and displaced. It helps to ensure that distributions are aligned within the ReARMM phases and other modernization timelines. The tool also integrates with the Decision Support Tool, DST, to visualize synchronization efforts. This coordination ensures that units have visibility on when equipment will arrive or be turned in, improving planning for both short-term and long-term readiness needs. AST and DST calendars are regularly reviewed during the Army Modernization Equipping Conference, the AMEC, to confirm that distribution and displacement schedules align with modernization goals. By feeding critical data between AST and DST, the Army maintains accurate, real-time updates on equipment movements. Here are the 4 conferences that work to synchronize Army resources and align them with operational priorities. We've already talked about the AMEC. There's the Army Future Readiness Conference, AFRC. They support the execution of the Army campaign plan by identifying friction points related to force objectives, and the conference reinforces priorities established by other Army command conferences and ensures the effective execution of ReARMM. There's the Army People Synchronization Conference, APSC. They focus on synchronizing Army efforts to modernize again by creating a multi-domain operational force. And they focus on how to best implement ReARMM and ensure the Army is prepared for competition, crisis, and conflict. The Army Synchronization and Resourcing Conference, ASRC, synchronizes planning, equipping, and modernization, once again for FY24 to 28, supporting brigade and EAB units. The ASRC also focuses on providing the necessary resources to build readiness and ensure trained, ready units. These conferences ensure that equipment, modernization, and personnel are synchronized with Army objectives, addressing any resource challenges or friction points requiring Army senior leader adjudication. Force integration synchronizes the execution of force development plans to ensure systematic change within units and organizations. The ReARMM model manages structure, manning, equipping, and other key factors to maintain readiness. Before ReARMM, other readiness processes supported this goal. So what readiness models preceded ReARMM? This slide outlines the evolution of force generation models and readiness approaches that led up to the regionally aligned readiness and modernization model. In the 1940s and 50s, post-World War II, readiness was kind of unlimited. I mean, the resourcing was unlimited. This period featured rapid force expansion and force design approaches such as the Reorganization of Objective Army Division, or ROAD. In the 80s, we had a couple programs or policies called Capstone and War Trace, and they shifted the focus to integrating operational reserves and modernizing heavy divisions. They aligned units against increased threats, particularly the USSR, but were not part of a tiered readiness system. In the 1990s, we saw the Authorized Level of Organization, or ALO. This was developed during the Cold War, and ALO supported the tiered readiness model by assigning units different readiness levels, allowing them to maintain reduced manning and resourcing in peacetime. So, for example, a level 2 unit might be manned at 70%, while a level 1 unit was resourced at 90%. In the 2000s, we saw the emergence of ARFRGen, the Army Force Generation Model, and it provided a relatively predictable cyclical readiness system for operational units on a 3 to 4 year rotation. It was followed briefly by the Sustainable Readiness Model, SRM, but let's go back to that period between the 1980s and 2006. It's not depicted on the slide, but this is where we had the tiered readiness model, and it was the Army's approach from the early 80s to 2006. During this period, units were assigned readiness levels based on adversary threats, with the reserves serving as a strategic reserve. ALO was the mechanism that operationalized the tiered readiness model, specifying how much of a unit's wartime strength was maintained during peacetime. Going back to Capstone and War Trace, these programs aligned reserve component units for specific missions and enhanced integration with active duty forces, but were not based on tiered readiness like ALO. On the other hand, ARFRGen was designed to generate fully prepared forces for rotational deployments, primarily in Iraq and Afghanistan, while also integrating the National Guard into regular cycles. Before ReARMM, previous models struggled with complexity, inflexibility, and unpredictable tempo, which resulted in high op tempo, straining soldiers and their families. ReARMM, implemented in 2020, was designed to mitigate these issues while featuring regional alignment, as the name implies, predictable cycles, and a modernization focus. While ReARMM addresses past challenges, questions may remain about cycle lengths, model stability, and deployment flexibility. ReARMM's principles enable the Army to prioritize people and deliberate modernization, offering a detailed 2-year outlook and a 3-year conceptual view. This disciplined approach minimizes op-tempo and purse-tempo turbulence. The ReARMM supports readiness for both competition and contingency operations, using a resource-informed approach to balance modernization and future operational requirements. The ReARMM unit lifecycle is designed to enable Army transformational change while ensuring readiness for competition, crisis, and conflict. Modernize. Units undergo reorganization, receive new equipment, and conduct fielding and training. During this phase, units are typically unavailable for operational missions. Train. Units focus on regionally tailored missions, integrating modern capabilities and preparing for assigned roles. Training is aligned with ReARMM's regional focus, allowing units to build expertise in specific areas of operation. The continuous employment, or KEMP, I guess it's KEMP. This new option provides flexibility for units whose missions may not fit the standard 8-8-8 cycle. KEMP operates on a 16-8-8 cycle to better support ongoing missions and requirements. Mission. Units are either on mission or prepared for rapid assignment, maintaining tailored readiness for operational demands. ReARMM enables transformational change to a multi-domain capable force while maintaining readiness for competition and conflict. It establishes regionally aligned force pools, creating habitual relationships between units and specific theaters or missions. ReARMM also synchronizes all Army components, including the regular Army, National Guard, and reserves, to provide predictable cycles for modernization, training, and mission execution. The Modernization, Displacement, and Repair Sites, MDRS, streamline equipment turnover and help support Army modernization efforts. As part of the ReARMM sustainment concept, MDRS sites provide a one-stop shop for divesting old, excess, or damaged materiel, allowing units to focus on modernization. With 14 sites established across the U.S., MDRS improves efficiency, saves soldier time, and aligns with ReARMM's goal to transform into a multi-domain capable force. The MDRS process ensures old equipment is repaired, turned in, or disposed of through the Defense Logistics Agency or depots, enhancing readiness and modernization. This diagram outlines the timeline and steps involved in building a new Army unit, from identifying a force structure need to having a fully operational unit. The deliberate process typically takes about 5 years, but can be expedited under urgent needs, like the Stryker Brigade, which deployed in about 3 years. The process covers all .mil-PFP domains, with some emphasis on doctrine development, personnel acquisition, training, equipping, and facility upgrades. The red box highlights the critical force integration point when units activate and start reporting readiness through the Defense Readiness Reporting System, or DRS. So this completes our overview of F106. Don't forget that this voiceover is simply an overview and not a substitute for a careful examination of your readings and other lesson materials. Thank you. Have a great day.